What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for March 24th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of the podcast. Let's get into a little housekeeping before we get started. First, be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Be sure to check out Lenny Wagner, author of Playing with the Best, One Man's Journey Through the Golden Age of Sports. It's a story of Walter French. And as I keep saying, this is, if you're a history person, this is a great story because it not only is about Walter, but it tells the story of the golden age of sports as well as what was going on in the country during that time. Lenny will be at the Mount Laurel Historical Society April 8th at 7. Currently working on getting together the interview, kind of presenting the package or whatever for when we kick that off April 1st. But go check it out. Everything you need is in the description. All right, and little side note here, and I'm asking for medical advice if you could. I was cleaning up the back porch this weekend, and we have an old coffee or picnic table that for whatever reason it's just old. It's my parents' old one from when I was a kid, so that gives you a sense on how old it is. But I went to pick something up. I had never put my extension cords away from the Christmas lights, so they were out there on the table. I went to scoop them up, and I got a splinter underneath my fingernail. I cut down my fingernail to try to get it. Still can't go. Should I just leave it go? If there's any medical professionals out there that can help me out with that, or should I actually go to the doctor and have them cut it out? It's a little sore from where I guess trimmed down my nail too much, but my thought process is eventually it'll grow out, right? Or do I need to go seek medical attention immediately? So any legit advice will be greatly appreciated as I try to figure out what looks like I have like I don't even know. Like if you're watching on YouTube, anyway, any medical advice will be greatly appreciated. All right, Sixers continued their losing ways. They've now lost 21 of 25, 132 to 119 last night in Atlanta. Quentin Grimes went for 26, but they kept pace with the Nets in the ever-important lottery standings. Tied for fifth now with 11 games left. Unfortunately for the Sixers, there are some winnable games on the schedule, so hopefully they don't screw this up. But we'll see how it goes. But I mean, they're looking good losing, if that's possible. So it does give me somewhat a little bit of hope for next year, but I don't know. I just hope they don't screw this up. Flyers did their own losing 7-4 yesterday to Chicago. Just a brutal, tough game to watch. Mishkov did have 2 assists. They're currently tied for the 5th spot, but they're not giving me the same type of vibes as the Sixers are as far as hope for the future. I'm anxious to see what happens with the Flyers and their coach this offseason, whether or not they keep Tortorella or decide to move on from there. But both winter teams doing their part to stay in the hunt for the best available pick they can have. All right, let's go to the Phillies and recap yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, do you have any opening day traditions? 67% of you said no, so maybe that's just something that is more in my house. I don't know. We've just always have donned our Phillies gear, even when the kids were younger, got them hyped up. We ate hot dogs, played some baseball, and it's something that we've continued to do. So maybe that's just us. But if you do, and you didn't listen yesterday, and you do have some opening day traditions, shoot them my way, and I'll be sure to get them on. But thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. There will be another one later in the show. Lots of Phillies news to talk about, though. Ranger Suarez will start the season on the 15-day IL, which means Taijuan Walker, the mole himself, will be our number 5 starter. Now, in fairness, he had a very good spring until this last outing, so maybe it was just a one-off and he'll be good. He's not scheduled to pitch the first time until April 3rd at home against the Rockies, and it could get ugly if he is not good. But it does appear that the rotation is going to go Wheeler, Luzardo, Nola, and Sanchez, meaning Christopher Sanchez will pitch the home opener, followed by Taiwan. We'll see. They did make a move signing Carlos Hernandez from Kansas City, picked him up off of waivers. Immediately, it seems as he's going to be the long man spot starter in the Phillies rotation, especially since Ranger's out. They DFA'd Tyler Phillips, the local kid, and if he does clear waivers, he'll end up in the Lehigh Valley. So, I mean, this is one of those, I'll take it. It's sort of a Howie Roseman low risk, high reward type. The Phillies have had luck with guys like this in the past, so we'll see. Maybe a change of scenery will be good for Carlos Hernandez. It also does appear that Kyle Schwarber is going to hit leadoff. Hit leadoff again yesterday. Has hit the past 5 games that he and Trey Turner were in the lineup. It was Schwarber, then Turner. I don't know if that is the manager. I don't know if that is the players. But one way, I mean, it looks like they're literally running it back the way they had it last year. I don't know. We'll see. Strahm does appear to be ready. I think he's going to pitch today, and if everything goes well, he should be on the opening day roster as well. Today is the last spring game, so we're close. We're like 3 days away from Phillies opening day. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I will do a little bit of a Phillies preview with some predictions and things like that. Have some fun with it. Not going to do the full-blown thing because, truthfully, we know who this team is. It's just a matter of whether they can do what they are capable of. So we'll talk more tomorrow and Wednesday as we gear up for the Phillies opener on Thursday down in D.C. All right, little quick Eagles thing, and this is more of a Philly thing than an Eagles thing, but you probably have heard the Macy's on Market Street is closed. Yesterday was the last day. It has the famous Wanamaker organ. I did see an article about this that apparently it was built for the St. Louis World's Fair. John Wanamaker bought it, and it's been a staple in Philly for years. People go to the Macy's to hear the show, especially during Christmas. They have the Christmas light display with the organ in the background, and I'm glad we got to go this year. It's something I've always enjoyed doing since I've been in the city. Glad we got to take the kids. No idea what they're going to do with the building yet. Everybody said they were going to preserve the organ and things like that. But the Eagles tie Swoop was there at the Macy's, and they did a rendition of Fly Eagles Fly on the Wanamaker organ. Again, no idea what's going to happen, but it is a sad day. It was an the light show, like I said, and just the organ in general. So we'll see what happens with that. But Fly Eagles Fly at the Macy's one last time before they shut down yesterday. Be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Lots of good things happening with their sports fan network. Go to clashingconference.com to see how you can get involved. Steven and the guys over there are doing a lot of great things. The podcasts are available wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. I talk a lot about them. I've been a guest on a couple of the different shows. So go check them out, theclashingconferences.com for details. And then go to Philly Goat. I'm excited to get this golf shirt. They partner with Double Bogey Down. You may have seen them, but they have 3 Philly unique styles for golf shirts. I went with the Philly Frenetic, but go check out what they have. Like I said, go to Philly Goat. They have it in their collections, Double Bogey Down, which looks like it's a phenomenal golf shirt. And if it's anything like everything else I've gotten from Philly Goat, I'm sure it's going to be comfortable. Go get some shoes while you're there too, and use that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, today we're going to stick with a March Madness theme as we roll out and finish out March strong. And on this day in 1979, Penn lost to Michigan State 101-67 in the Final Four. Yes, the Penn Quakers were in the Final Four as recent as 1979. Michigan State, though, was led by some sophomore guy named Irvin Johnson. You may have heard of him, but Magic was doing magic things in this game, messed around, had a triple-double, and the Quakers were playing in their first and to date only Final Four. That year in 1978-79, they went 25-7, 13-1 in the Ivy. Ended up the season ranked number 14 in the final AP poll. They were led by senior Tony Price, who was the Ivy League's Player of the Year. Went on to be a second-round draft pick of the Pistons. Didn't really do much in the pros, though. Penn, though, was the 9 seed. They beat Iona. Listen to this run, by the way. Like a heck of a run to the Final Four. They beat Iona, which back in the day, Iona was pretty solid. Number 3, North Carolina. Number 8, Syracuse. And number 17, St. John's to get to the Final Four. That's like a gauntlet in and of itself. Great accomplishment for the Quakers. The Michigan State team they lost to was number 6. Michigan State was not number 6. They would go on. Back then, they had the consolation game. Penn would lose the consolation game to number 6, DePaul, 96-93 in overtime. So they ended up in third place in the entire country. It was one of only 4 times the Ivy League has made it to the Final Four. Dartmouth made it in 1942 and 1944. Princeton in 1965. And then, of course, that 79 Penn team. They're the last Ivy League team to make it. But that is today's question of the day. Can an Ivy League team make a run to the Final Four? We've seen some crazy things with 8 seeds, 9 seeds, even lower. I think 11 seed made it to the Final Four. Can an Ivy League team make a run to the Final Four? 267-495-8531. That'll get you in, especially in this age of NIL. Unfortunately, I don't think it's something we're ever going to see under the current way things are set up. But what do you think? Can an Ivy League team make a Final Four? Let me know your thoughts on that. Anything else Philly sports related in honor of Penn, who played in the Final Four today back in 1979, getting blown out by Michigan State, but no harm in that. Michigan State was one hell of a team led by Magic Johnson. They would go on to win that championship when Michigan State beat Indiana State and Larry Bird in the finals. But Quakers, to their credit, they were at the time they were the lowest seed to ever make it to the Final Four. One hell of a season for the Penn Quakers, that 78-79 season. All right, and then finally today, our Women's Big 5 Hall of Fame Spotlight. Today we're going to spotlight Natasha Rezek from Penn. Keeping with the Quakers theme today. She was a center, played there from 91 through 96. She was a 2-time All-Big 5 selection, 1-time second-team Big 5. She was first-team Ivy League in 1996. She led the Ivy in scoring and rebounding that year. She was second-team Ivy League as a sophomore. 43 career double-doubles. That includes a school record 24 rebounds against American, and then she was inducted into the Big 5 Hall of Fame in 2018. But Natasha Rezek was just an outstanding double threat. I mean, scorer and rebounder in the Ivy, one of the best to ever do it in Penn, and one of the best to ever do it in the Big 5. So Natasha Rezek is today's Women's Big 5 Hall of Fame Spotlight. Let me know. Will an Ivy team ever make the Final Four? I shouldn't say will, can. I've been called out on my semantics recently. So can an Ivy League team make a run at the Final Four? I don't know. I mean, it's going to take everything falling right. But, I mean, if you look at what Penn did in 1979, that's a hell of a run, beating number 3, number 8, and number 17 to get to the Final Four. So I guess crazier things had happened. That's why they call it March Madness. But let me know your thoughts on that, all in honor of the University of Pennsylvania, who made the Final Four and played, losing to Michigan State today back in 1979. Be sure to check out the Clashing Conferences as well as the Philly GOAT. We will have more on the Phillies as we gear up. It's a little bit of a pep in the step this week. I know 67% of you don't have opening day traditions, but for me, man, there's just something about the week of opening day that just kind of, you have a little bit more pep and you're excited because you know what's on the horizon. But we'll have more on the Phillies as the week goes. Let me know your thoughts too on the Wanamaker organ. What can they do with it? What should they do with it? I don't know. It's just one of those cool, iconic Philadelphia historical pieces. All right, this has been This Day in Philly Sports History for March 24th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.